Well, the Doors are back home, and for the first time this season, they are home with a road win. Welcome to Falmouth and Wareham Round 2. Aiden Blanc, MJ Newsom, and Braden Shank for opening the door. MJ, that is the headline of the day. The Doors finally get a win after 10 consecutive losses to begin the season on the road. How cool is this, right? They hosted it back-to-back years in 02 and 03. Haven't hosted it since then. This is quite something. Yeah, you need to open up a few extra parking lots. The town's a little busier than normal, but my goodness, it's a beautiful day. We've already got all-stars here to work out. This is going to be so cool. Riley ends his Commodore career on a very high note, throwing a perfect ninth inning to close it out. And Braden, now the pitching turns over to Matt Hewer, his third start of the summer, hoping to see a little more longevity out of him. Only went an inning and two-thirds last week in Chatham. If you can find 2 or 3 really strong arms, starting or bullpen, you're going to have a good chance to come back in the playoff race. You just gave about 5-10 big hugs in that huddle. Who are you going to miss the most? What are you going to miss the most about the Commodores? Hopefully the rain stays away. We're trying to play some baseball here on a Wednesday. The lone home game of the week at Gov Fuller Field. The Commodores face the Harwich Mariners. Aiden Blanc, MJ Newsom, and Braden Shank here for opening the door. Looking forward to this game. MJ, last night, bullpen, maybe the best we've seen them this season. 7 1/3 after Matt Hewer only went an inning and 2/3. What a great start for the bullpen against Chatham. What's up, Braden? Yeah, you're absolutely right. And not a lot of people know how much work goes into preparing for an all-star game like this. Multiple different departments around the organization are working overtime over the next bunch of days in order to get this done. He's just an on-base machine, and it's something the Commodores have needed, especially at home. When they get runners on base here at the Gov, they don't usually leave him out there. He got on a second time as well through a fielder's choice. You'd expect to see him as a mainstay in the lineup, hopefully the rest of the season. And MJ, I know that his Oregon State teammate's going to be joining the group today. Hit over 300, went to Louisville, had another great season in the ACC. Now he's in the transfer portal. Baseball America thinks he's the #1 transfer available, and they're also saying he might be a first-round draft pick next year, so a lot to play for in year 2 in the Cape for him, and you expect to see him, if not tonight, in the top of the lineup within the next few days. We're preparing to meet all of these all-stars in the game. There's also a couple of things on the Commodore website already. There's a countdown on the website and the Instagram. We've seen TikTok. Today was a post about Commodores alumni who played in the All-Star game, and later this week we'll see an interview with Bob Curtis. So Braden, it's going to be a very fun day, but it certainly has already begun. The All-Star festivities have been going on for quite some time. They did win their second straight. That's the first time that's happened this year, and they did it against a Katua team that came in having won 5 in a row on the road. It was very impressive. Yeah, one of the great things about Bourne, they play Frank Sinatra after the game, and they were just playing My Way, and I think that's the perfect way to encapsulate this game and this entire season for them. There was a good chunk of the game where we thought this was going to be the first time since June 17th that they didn't score a run. They didn't lie down. They went down 10-0. Not only did they prevent the mercy, they came back and got it to within 7 runs. And this team fought. They went down the only way they know how, which was swinging, and there's something to be said for that. A Jeff Trundy team never really rolls over for anybody, even when they're 5th place mathematically eliminated from the postseason. Top of the second inning here in Chatham. Commodores back to the plate, middle third. Turley, Keelan, and Bowen after Willits, Carey, and Jones go down 1-2-3 with a pair of strikeouts in the top of the first. Would like to see a little more offensively as Gavin Turley stands in on a semi-night off. He's the DH this evening instead of playing in center field. He takes low, 1 ball and no strikes. The Doors really have at least 5 outfielders at this point, with Turley now in the DH spot, and you also again have Zion Rose activated once again after dealing with some injuries. So you actually have a plethora of outfield talent. Turley taps it off the plate to the backstop for 1 and 2. Would wonder if maybe this means Zion's going to get into more of a 3-man catching rotation sort of situation where he'll do 2 days in center and 1 day behind the plate. Really anything to get his bat in the lineup if it can be anywhere near what it was before he came out of the lineup, especially in this playoff push. Here's the 1-1. Line drive right center field, cruising towards the gap. Larson ranges over and makes the play. Good piece of contact from Gavin Turley, but not enough to do the job. Larson makes the grab for the first out of the inning.
All you can do there if you're Turley is just smile a little bit. Really good piece. He did a great job sitting back on the slider that moved in the outer half. Threw his hands that way. And you mentioned it, Larson was just cheating a little bit in the right center gap for the pull side of Turley.
Here's Gavin Keelan, the starting shortstop for the Doors. He chips one to the backstop. Tennessee transfer now into an 0-1 count. Well, we didn't mention it yet, but the Doors didn't take batting practice, nor did Chatham today. Certainly fair as well for the pitchers. Doors did not hit in the cages, Chatham did, but the Commodores called strike 0-2, did not take batting practice today. I don't know that they were aware until they got on the bus that there was no batting practice. So Carson Bowen was telling me not everybody was hitting in the cages today. There are some guys taking their first swings of the afternoon right now. Pitch is high and out for 1 ball and 2 strikes. And given that they had an off day yesterday, some of these guys may be swinging for the first time since Sunday. It may take a while for this Commodore offense, which was scorching before the off day, to start warming up. Here's the 1-2. High fastball, fouled off of the gear for Smithwick, and the count remains 1-2.
You talk about a Commodores offense that is scorching. Nobody's hotter than Gavin Keelan right now. A couple of homers in his last 2 games.
2 for 3 on Sunday with a pair of RBIs against the Gatemen. Big win for the Doors over the number 2 team in the West. Pitch is high, and the count is now 2 balls and 2 strikes. The number 1 team in the West, the Cotuit Kettleers, are now down to 4 for their magic number. We're starting to talk for those top 1 or 2 teams in each division about clinching a playoff spot. The breaking ball misses high, and the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. As far as the Commodores and their playoff hopes, the Bourne Braves visit the Harwich Mariners this evening. Harwich is currently in the lead. That could be big if the Doors win and Bourne loses. Doors basically move to 2 games back. Maybe 1.5. Pitch is fired low for ball 4, and how about a great at-bat worked by Gavin Keelan. Nice long at-bat, and it ends in a walk.
Well, that really shows me the confidence that Gavin Keelan has right now. I feel like the beginning of the summer, even the middle part of the summer, those are not the at-bats he would have down a ball and 2 strikes. He works it all the way back, fouls a couple pitches off, and finds a way on first base.
Batters now Carson Bowen, catcher out of TCU. Bowen's had himself a wonderful summer and gets back into the lineup tonight as the starting catcher. The pitch. High and out for ball 1. Remember, Bowen was the late addition on Sunday into the lineup in the leadoff spot, something he'd never done before. They throw him in the leadoff spot for the first time all summer. It wasn't what you wanted, 0 for 5 with a strikeout, but he's gotten obviously a much different situation here. The pitch is high for 2-0. First of all, he's going to be warmer because he's also catching, so he'll be warmed up for that as well. He wasn't catching on Sunday. And of course, now he knew ahead of time he was going to be in the lineup. 2 balls, no strikes. Keelan with a 1-out walk is on first. A turn and a throw, and Keelan just in time. My goodness, that was a close call for Gavin Keelan. Bowen, a .269 hitter in 20 games this summer. A good year for the catcher. He pops it up to the right side. In comes Larson towards the line, sprinting in, and makes the play. Just narrowly avoiding the second baseman, Jaden Davis. And 2 outs in 3 batters to start the second inning for Tyler Murphy.
Well, either Jaden Davis didn't hear Larson or Larson did not call it loud enough. It looked like Jaden Davis was pursuing that baseball the entire way, and Larson just flew in at the last moment to make the second out.
Batter is Robbie Bolin. Commodore debut here, the center fielder. Again, community college player, is now transferring to Nebraska. He'll be teammates with Dylan Carey. Go back to first, not in time. We heard Brad Stoll was a driving factor, given he's a Kansas community college guy, behind bringing Robbie Bolin in as an extra outfielder, and he grounds it towards shortstop, fielded by Arquette. The flip to second is just ahead of the sliding Keelan, and the inning comes to an end. And so, for the Doors, it's no runs on no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. Inning and a half in the books. Quiet night for the Bats to begin here in Chatham. Falmouth nothing and Chatham nothing here on Doors Radio.
Hi, I'm Francis Ferguson, a left-handed pitcher from the Falmouth Commodores, and you're watching Commodores baseball.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field, Aiden and MJ, and there's your Doors starting lineup tonight. The lineup doesn't look much different than usual, despite the defensive alignments.
Yeah, absolutely. Jackson Willits and Gavin Keelan flip-flop positions, but are still 1-2 in the order. And just like we were talking about the leadoff guy for Chatham, Austin O'Verne, Jackson Willits is a force to be reckoned with, a guy who can switch hit, hits well from both sides of the plate. He's hitting .381 right now, Aiden, good for second in the league.
Willits, Keelan, Gaffney the top third, Carey, Caraway, Turley the middle third, Jones, Scott Mudler, and Jimmy Nadai the bottom third. Scott Mudler back in the lineup. He started his first game on July 4th against Catuit, looking to rebound after not the start you wanted with 4 strikeouts. And there's Liam Paddock on the mound from Gonzaga.
Yeah, Liam Paddock's a guy that is in his second summer with Chatham and has really been a pretty strong pitcher. You just look at the numbers. Maybe not the best stuff so far this summer. He had a great start on June 20th, went 5 1/3, struck out 7 guys, and looks to replicate that again here on the road against a dangerous Falmouth lineup that we've seen produce a lot at home.
I know we do Doors trivia usually in the 4th inning or so, but I've got an extra one today. Is it Gonzaga or Gonzaga?
Gonzaga.
I agree. It's the Zags. Here's Willits. High chopper left side. Great stop by Peyton at third base. And Eli goes to Luke Cantwell for the out. Chatham defensively looking like this with Bay, Overn, and Larson in the outfield. Peyton, Arquette, Lodis, and Cantwell on the infield. And Campbell Smithwick is in back of the plate, another guy that they brought over from a separate Cape League team. It's a pretty standard lineup, a really solid defensive group. Here's a strike to the newest Tennessee Volunteer, Gavin Keelan.
Well, it's really easy to talk about Austin O'Verne as an offensive player, but as a defensive player, he is just as good. Had a great diving catch last night at home.
Yeah. 2 strikes here on Keelan. You were admiring Paddock's height. Falmouth has faced their share of really tall pitchers. Has not really been a problem for them this season. You can see the pants barely fit him. But he fits one into the zone on Keelan, who's down on strikes for the second out.
Well, just like Gage Wood, Liam Paddock sure is in a groove. Taking a look at the breaking ball here. Keelan thought it was up in the zone that he held back. Better vantage point here. It's close. But close enough on 2 strikes. I think Keelan's got to pull the trigger there.
So now it's Gaffney. Another start in left field. I'm told in batting practice, he's gotten a lot of those reps because that's where Clemson wants him. They're not going to stop him from playing first base, but they'd like to have him as an extra outfielder. I mean, man, you really got to get a lot of experience to be in that kind of outfield with the numbers that they will have returning. You're really going to have to prove yourself to fit in that top-of-the-line ACC outfield.
And if you can play first base and play in the outfield, we know he catches a little bit as well. You just give yourself that many more opportunities to fit into that lineup, which is going to be really good and really scary next year in the ACC.
Swings through it, and each pitcher gets a 1-2-3 first inning. Each of them rebounding with 2 strikeouts to end it. Paddock versus Wood. This could be a fun game tonight. Pitchers duel early here at the Gov.